Welcome, everyone, to the Campus Waterfowl podcast. I'm your host, Derek Christians, and this is the first trip of our Collegiate Waterfowl tour in 2023-2024 hunting season. And this weekend, to kick off the hunting season, we are here at Sugarfoot Preserve in about, I would call it central Alabama. Is that pretty accurate?
Oh, yeah.
Sitting here on the podcast, we're going to have some members of the Auburn Ducks Unlimited chapter, and then two alum of the Auburn chapter. But then also this weekend, there's about 20 students here at Sugarfoot this weekend, and we're all kind of just here hanging out, having a good time, kind of celebrating the chapter's successes that they had from the previous years, and then also kind of kickstarting this fall's fundraising and everything that they're going to be doing on their college campuses. But before we get into the podcast, for the Collegiate Waterfowl Tour, we have some sponsors to thank. First off, Ken Cartridge. You guys are all well aware of Ken Cartridge. They've been sponsoring the tour since day one of us traveling to colleges for this tour. So big shout out to Ken Cartridge. And on another note, they actually have a new ammo this year coming out. It's called Fasteel Plus. It's a blended stacked load. So this weekend, we're actually teal hunting. We're actually shooting the teal steel, but throughout the hunting season, we're going to be shooting the Fasteel Plus 2.4s. So we'll be able to let you guys know how that is, but keep a lookout for those in your local retailers. And then also, new sponsor this year, Benelli USA is sponsoring the Collegiate Waterfowl Tour. Love their products. We all are well aware of the quality of firearms that they put out. Super Black Eagle 3 is something that we'll be shooting this season. Very good group of sponsors to support us, and can't thank them enough for supporting us and the collegiate hunters around the country, and being able to highlight what students are doing around the country, not only out in the field and hunting, but also at the college level, raising money for the Ducks, doing science too as well. But what else we got? I think we should be all good to go. It's a solid intro, I think. So, like I said, we're here at Sugarfoot Preserve. I have two active members, two volunteers of the Auburn University Ducks Unlimited chapter, and then Cam, who's with Ducks Unlimited. So, in this podcast, I think we're going to be highlighting some of their successes, what got them to where they're at now, and then two, I did not mention this in the intro, but they are our 2023 Collegiate Waterfowl National Champions. So every year we do a 64 school bracket to find the best waterfowl school in the country, and Auburn came up on top this year, so they locked in a trip. And then we're here now and having them on the podcast. So let's start out with some intros. Riley, you want to kick us off?
Absolutely. We're excited to be here. Thank you. I'm Riley Ketchum. I'm the chairman of the Auburn chapter, and I've got two of my favorite people here, so they can introduce themselves now.
I'm Erin Colhoun, and I'm co-chairman of the Auburn chapter.
I'm Cam Boland. I'm an Auburn DU alum, and I'm also a DU employee now, so that's really exciting.
Riley, and I guess everyone, you guys want to kind of share a little background about yourselves, kind of where you grew up and how you got to be where you're at now?
Absolutely. So I'm born and raised in Alabama. I currently live in Auburn. I'm a student at Auburn, and I'm from Opelika, which is a sister city to Auburn. Okay. So I'm home. I grew up with my dad being a forester, works in the woods, cares a lot about the environment and stuff like that, really. And I'm actually choosing to study forestry as well. That's what I'm going to school for. My duck hunting really came from my granddad. My dad's a forester, so the woods are work to him. It's not really fun to go out and hunt if that's where you work. That's your office. Who wants to go back to the office? Mm-hmm. So my granddad's really been a mentor in my life for kind of my duck hunting, and I guess I can contribute a lot of why I'm here to him.
Mm-hmm. I grew up in Kingsport, Tennessee. It's a smaller town up in the mountains in the northeast area. I ended up at Auburn after I made a little bit of a bet with my mom, because I wasn't interested in Auburn at the beginning, but she knew that it would be a good place. And I'm also studying forestry. I didn't grow up in a family with any forestry connections, any hunting connections, anything like that. And so when I got to Auburn, got into that program, I started learning a lot of stuff. And then I was at a tailgate that some of my friends host, and he took my phone and added me to the Auburn Ducks Unlimited AU Involved page and said, "There's a meeting on Tuesday. See you there." And I just looked at it. I was like, okay, I guess I'm going. So I showed up, started getting involved, met some of the best people I've ever met, and now I'm here. So it's pretty cool.
I just graduated from Auburn in 2022 and 2020. 2022, I got my Master's of Forestry. I know we're a bunch of foresters here. And then I got my bachelor's from Auburn in wildlife ecology and management. I was in the DU chapter when I was an undergrad, had a lot of fun. When I came back for grad school, it was post-COVID, so there was really no chapter left. So that was our rebuild era, and got to meet these two cool cats and hang out with them. And now I'm really proud to see them as leaders in the chapter. And they've really taken it to new levels.
So with Campus Waterfowl, I've kind of just watched a lot of the chapters around the country. A lot of them do have like Instagram pages and everything. And it just seems like one year out of nowhere, Auburn just blew up. What kind of, can you guys talk about the history of the Auburn chapter a little bit, and then kind of just how it got to that level where it's at now, and maybe talk about too, like how many active members you guys have this year?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So I think me and Cam might be able to tag team this question pretty well because she's been involved with our chapter longer than I have. Went to Auburn and was the chairman before the guy before me. So would you like to start? Then I can kind of give an update.
Yeah, I'll start where we first began. So AUDU was established in 2002. So it had a long tenure, and it had some successes, a lot of ups and downs. 2018, 2019, we had about 15 members, but we still pulled off a really solid banquet because we had a really passionate group. And we were always around the bronze All-American, so raising at least $25,000. Post-COVID across the U.S., a lot of our DU chapters took major hits. So recovery was key in getting these chapters back and going. I didn't think I was going to be running the chapter when I came back to grad school. I just reached out to the advisor and said, "Hey, I want to help out again. I had a lot of fun." He's like, "Well, you got a lot of work to do because we got nothing." So 2021, I took over as chairman. I had a great co-chair. Her name was Chloe. We went to third term, learned a ton, and came back ready to go. And I remember the first meeting, there was two guys stuck around after the meeting, and one of them came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm Riley Ketchum." And I said, "All right, let's see where this goes." And, I mean, he has grown through leadership in the chapter, and now he runs the chapter, so that's been really cool. And he can tell you a little bit more where they're at today.
Absolutely. So, my first year of college was the COVID year. So that was really kind of crazy for me and everything. And I chose not to go the fraternity way. We could talk a little bit more about that. I got a point I want to make with that. But DE really kind of just fit me. So I said, let's go, let's see. And our chapter, I think then we had about, 20 people coming to the meetings. It just seemed like a cool crowd. And really, it was a tight crowd of the right people. I really think, and I've heard it from a lot of people, I really think that 10 of the right people are way better than 10 of the wrong people that don't care at all. And I think just about every one of our members cares.
Mm-hmm.
And back to kind of the fraternity thing for a second, our chapter is really an outlet for a lot of students at Auburn because those who don't go that fraternity route, those that don't get involved with this or that, DU can be that source of
Family
and
and sense,
community.
yeah. So it's really good for a bunch of students that want to be involved but didn't do this, didn't do that, and they're feeling left out. Our chapter is so diverse, it's not even funny. We've got
Just about every major on Auburn's
Yeah.
campus in
Really?
our chapter. Mm-hmm.
our involvement is mostly female too, and it's really great to see people that may not be in it because I'm a hunter, let's go see what DU's about. It's a conservation-based organization, and that really shows through our demographic, and it's really a sense of pride to some of the older people and the leaders in the chapter to see it have grown to be more than just a chapter. It's a family. We're all really tight. We work together because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Our first year, well, my first year in DU, around 2018, 2019, we had about 15 members. And it's a good group, but sometimes, you're limited with just having 15 members. Not everyone has the time to pull out events and just do what you really want to do. We went from 2 members to 65 in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We hit our 100 mark in 2022. And then, Riley, what are you at now?
Right now, we're at 157.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, we're really blessed to have. We've got an executive committee of about 10 people, a cabinet committee that really just helps support the executive committee.
Mhm.
They're really involved, great group of people. There's about 20 of them, and then all of our members are great. And so really having that many people who really care, it's really encouraging, and it's cool to be able to kind of work for them and help support them.
and we all have a lot of fun. So
Oh,
yeah, with 157 members, I think it kind of grows exponentially because we make it fun, and somebody comes, just one person
Mhm.
comes, and it's like, holy cow, this is really cool. I'm going to bring 3 people. So that 15 turns into a lot very quickly if you do it right.
Yeah.
I had so much fun building up the Auburn chapter that now I get to build up all the chapters.
You
So-
need to tell them what
Yeah,
What my job is. I mean,
yeah,
I
can you talk about
figured.
what you do at DU?
Yeah, so my position at DU, I'm the Region 4 Youth Engagement Coordinator. So I work with all the youth programs across Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Tennessee. And those youth programs include our scholarship, our ecology certification, and primarily organizing and startup of high school and collegiate chapters. So I have about 35 collegiate chapters I work with on a daily basis, along with anyone new who has a lead who comes in and says, I want to start a chapter. I'll start the process and help them out. And I have about 15 high school chapters, too, that funnel into our collegiate program as well.
And I love that thing about the high school chapters. We've actually got a few members, including the National Scholarship, Ducks Unlimited Scholarship winner, that has just joined our chapter, and she's kind of been fast-tracked into positions of cabinet committee and leadership, and it's great to see somebody that gets that early experience in DU be really passionate coming into Auburn.
Mhm. Can we talk about kind of like you guys mentioned, like you got 150, is that what you said?
157, yes, sir.
157 members at Auburn DU. Do you think all of those people knew what DU was when joining?
I can 100% say no.
No.
So
I didn't when I joined.
yeah.
was brand new to DU. I love the outdoors. I love conservation. I didn't know anything about DU. I joined through an ex-boyfriend. I'll say it. I joined through an ex-boyfriend. And I love the chapter, and I love the family vibe of DU and their mission. And I'm proud to say I'm a new hunter now because I've learned the importance of hunting through DU and through my education at Auburn. But I'd say most of the members now, 50-50, new hunters have never hunted before in their life.
And we've got actually quite a few people that are involved with leadership in our chapter that do not ever plan to hunt in their life. They're in it solely for the conservation aspects.
Mm-hmm. Now, when I joined, I was not familiar with Ducks Unlimited. I'd seen the logo places. I thought it was cool, like the merchandise. But everyone makes fun of me. I was at home for Thanksgiving. I got a call from our previous president before him, and he says, "Hey, Aaron, congratulations, you're our new vice president." I said no and hung up the phone. Went upstairs and went and talked to my parents, and my dad's like, "So Aaron, what's DU?" And I looked at him, I was just like, I didn't know how to answer that question. So I go back downstairs and I pick up the phone, call him back. I said, "Okay, so what is DU and what would this vice president thing look like?" And got to talking about it, and the more that I learn about the organization, the more I love it. And I love being able to introduce people to it because it's so broad, and there's so many amazing things that they do.
And a good point with that is you get out what you give.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see today, we're in this beautiful piece of property. These are kind of our senior leaders in this, right? Well, we give a lot to that chapter. It takes so much time.
Yeah.
But we love to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The peer-to-peer mentorship, I'd say in all our college chapters, especially our Auburn chapter, is key to success. So not only getting with younger students and training them on what is DU, what is being a leader in our chapter, getting them to that officer level, but also peer-to-peer mentorship when it comes to hunting, taking out those new hunters, introducing them to shooting sports, going on a dove hunt, just getting them out exposed to the outdoors and that type of lifestyle, I think is huge. So you're learning a lot on just how to be a leader, but also what it means to be a good outdoors man and woman.
Absolutely.
Sure. Do you think a lot of those, even the skills that a lot of the members are learning being involved with DU will help carry over into their professional careers and applying for jobs down the road?
Absolutely. I've actually been interviewing a lot in the past month or so for potential internships for next summer. And almost every interview question I was asked, first thing that came to mind is oh, I did this with Ducks Unlimited. Oh, I have this experience from navigating this challenge, or I've learned this from just being a part of it in this capacity. And the past month has really opened my eyes to just how much I've developed professionally in the program, because I've met my best friends through it. I've had the most fun time, but it's also cool to see that even when we're just hanging out having fun, how much growth opportunities there are if you're willing to put in the effort.
Something you don't see a lot of college students doing in their spare time is volunteer work,
Right.
working for a nonprofit. So it's an immediate standout on a resume when you see I've clocked 100 hours of community service and volunteer work with Ducks Unlimited. And even if they don't understand what our mission is and necessarily a lot about conservation, they understand that you are putting in work for a nonprofit, you're putting in those hours, and you're working towards something bigger than yourself. So I think that really stands out, that we have dedicated students across the U.S., especially here in Alabama, that take the time to do that.
And as the leader of, I guess, this collegiate chapter, we really want to help people develop their professional lives. In our meetings, we always kind of end with, hey, you want to be involved? Even if you just want to put something on your resume, come see us. We can make it happen. Whatever you want, just tell us how we can help you. And it's those who take advantage of that opportunity really are proud of what they were able to gain from being involved with our chapter.
There's an opportunity for everybody.
Absolutely.
Place for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to touch on kind of just some of the things that the chapter does as a whole for DU, kind of some of the events you guys might host?
As a whole for DU, absolutely. So we do one major event each semester. In the fall, it is our major fundraiser event.
Okay.
A lot of chapters call it a banquet. We've got some red tape to jump through, so we can't. It is our fall fundraising event, and we're very proud of it. It's the one that's a little more formal. Ticket price is just a tad higher. We've got college students coming, a lot of I hate to say adults, but adults from our community that really love that as our event. And that's our kind of big ticket, let's see how much we can get in the door monetarily event. And in the spring, we do a bingo event, which is an awesome time.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody really loves that one because it caters more to the college students.
Yeah, and then outside of those two major events, we'll host recruitment socials, try to give members an opportunity to get together, just enjoy a good time, get to meet some of the people who are interested in the chapter in a slightly more low pressure setting than just walking into a classroom where you got a PowerPoint up. And we found a lot of success with that over the years. And then we hosted our first cornhole tournament on Thursday this week. And that was awesome. We got to introduce DU to a lot of people who were just excited to play in a cornhole tournament. And it was also just a lot of fun. And so we try to host a good number of smaller events that can still help us fundraise, but where the focus is more on building a sense of community, just really trying to give our members something that they can enjoy and have fun with.
Absolutely. I'd like to talk about those cornhole events a little more because that's kind of my baby, I guess. That might be a legacy I leave. Just getting ready to graduate and everything. But those cornhole events, we're going to try to do them a couple times each semester. So this semester, we're going to have it twice. We meet as a chapter every other week. So we're going to try to build it up to where we can do it every week that we don't have a meeting, because we do it at the same time we meet, and people already have that time set aside. It's really a great way for people to get together and have fun and not just hear me stand up in front of a room and hound information at them that they need to know.
Mhm.
You want to tell about your first DU meeting with me?
My first DU meeting with Cam. Cam is a very tall person. The College of Forestry and Wildlife Environment at Auburn is where we meet. And there's a room there. Everybody knows it because it's the one that they all have a class in. It's 2217. It's an auditorium style, but it's a little smaller. It holds 100 people.
Mhm.
That's the capacity. That's how many chairs, right? I walk in the door, and she is, I like to be a little bit early. So she is sitting behind the computer in front like a teacher, and resting annoyed face that's just kind of like, holy cow, she's scary. And it has been a running joke ever since. It's just walk in and, wow, okay.
He used to walk into me and be like, Cam, can you smile? I said, I do smile, but I was in the zone. And I was a teaching assistant for Auburn when I was a grad student.
Mhm.
So I'd usually come right from a lab and get grades in and, do other stuff. And then I'd get ready for them. My fun time with DU, not lab work time. But Riley said, Cam, smile.
Yeah. We talked about points of success earlier. We can talk about how it might be a point of success that we don't scare people away right when they walk through the door.
Hey, we didn't scare them all away.
One thing that Auburn is really getting really good at is taking advantage of all the things that our university has to offer. We've got organization O-Day events that lots of collegiate groups and individuals and clubs at Auburn participate in, and we table there. We table on the Haley Concourse, which is the big strip where most of the buildings are at campus, and those tabling events, we go out of our way to find a way to make somebody come up and talk to us. This year, little rubber ducks, like little itty bitty little.
They got a little squeaker in the bottom, so we just stand there squeaking them. Someone would look, and we just throw it at them. And they'd like catch this duck, and they would either come over and talk to us, or they would start walking away squeaking the duck, and then other people would be looking
Really?
for where they got the duck.
Everybody else is like,
Oh,
oh, I want a duck.
great
and they'll come up
recruitment
and
strategy.
talk.
Genius.
Great recruitment strategy.
So we have hats and everything. So when we table, we've done it 3 separate times this semester, and those times lasted multiple days, so it's more than just 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's great for the involvement. Another thing we do is just be really involved with Auburn and our school. So it helps to kind of get our chapter out there that it's not just kind of this separate entity that's doing this. We're tied to Auburn.
Yeah, we made some game day buttons this year that we've sold, and those have been really successful. That's also another great way for us to kind of just reach out and like advertise ourselves to the community. And then we just had so many opportunities. We went to like some welcome back stuff for the College of Forestry. Just being able to like get involved and just show up places.
We're very
It's
lucky at
awesome.
Auburn. The College of Forestry, Wildlife, and Environment has been a really big proponent of success because they're very supportive of the students. They share all the events. They tell new incoming students of what's going on campus, and it's huge to have their support. It's really special that they want to keep us around and see where we go.
So we talked a lot about the Auburn chapter specifically. What about collaboration with like other chapters, and then like do you guys communicate with other college chapters a lot,
do.
and even not even just like this weekend we're actually doing just that, but like even chapters outside of the southeast area?
Absolutely. So Ducks Unlimited is really great about kind of getting their message out to collegiate chapters. We go to third term each year. It's like a leadership conference. It's called third term because it's in the summer. It's like the third term. Okay.
That's where that comes from. I never knew.
Yeah. So we had 77 chapters there this year. Over 300.
Part of my job is around 300 students. Part of my job is making sure that they can connect to those other colleges, and the fact that we get to be here with 7 other schools is great. You don't get a lot of opportunity to see them collab like that. I would say Alabama DU as a whole is very supportive of each other, even though it's a big competition. Alabama versus Auburn. We have 4 other college chapters that are in the state, but they all are very supportive of each other. They buy each other's merchandise. They attend events. Sometimes they'll have crossover meetings just for fun. But we've really made an effort to make sure that these college chapters have that collegiate family. So getting them connected at third term is great, but then keeping that connection throughout the year is really important.
Absolutely. And with that, we have students from other schools, other chapters. Hey, come to our meeting, see what we do, see how we do it. There's a famous speech by somebody at Ducks Unlimited called "Build Your Burger."
Yeah.
Yeah, every chapter's different. That's kind of just building. Everybody builds a burger different, so every chapter's different. We want them to come see how we do it. We go see how they do it, and both chapters benefit a lot from it. We've had Tuskegee, they're a new chapter. We've had them come to our meetings to just see how we do it. We're really close to them. We've got students from other schools that don't even have a chapter that can be involved.
And
in the
y'all
form
have
of Southern
welcomed
Union.
the community college, Southern Union, is welcome to join the Auburn chapter.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
It's right across town, so it's not chip shot.
Yeah, and that's a good note where I think, I don't know, is it, maybe every chapter is different, but it's not like, do you have to be an active college student of that college chapter to get involved with?
So it depends on the area. Typically, you do have to be a college student, but we're seeing a lot of success with partnering community colleges with a four-year university. So Southern Union is a feeder school for Auburn. So students may go there for 2 years to play sports, they're on scholarship just to get those credits done. Then they'll come to Auburn. But we want to have them some roots at Auburn, some familiar faces. So we're trying to do that across all our collegiate programs. Hey, if you have a school that is really close but is not big enough for a chapter, bring them on in. As long as they're a college student, it shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
A lot of the people who have been really successful with helping lead our chapter started at Southern Union, came to Auburn. And we kept noticing, we kept getting people like their junior year who were really passionate about being involved, who just hadn't had a chance earlier on. So we've started partnering with Southern Union. We set up some stuff at their welcome week. We've started trying to have a presence there as well, just to let their students know that they're welcome to join us.
And Southern Union is actually very active in the Auburn and Opelika community. Being from there, jokingly, it was called 13th grade. Just go right from that to there. So a lot of local people really look to get involved with something outside of what they did in high school, and we can kind of fill that gap for them.
Cam, can you talk about some of just the numbers and the scale of how big DU's Collegiate Ducks University's program is? Because I think that's one thing that I think people are aware of college chapters, but just how big that program is for DU.
Yeah, absolutely. This past fiscal year, we've raised over $2 million alone just in the collegiate programs. Yeah, just in the collegiate programs. As Riley mentioned earlier, third term we had 300 students from 77 chapters. We have 115 chapters across the U.S., and it's still growing. Part of my job is to take those leads and help them develop a chapter. So I get leads 2-3 times a week from schools across my region. We have other coordinators across their regions too that handle the leads, but it's growing fast, and we are linking our high school students to college programs, but we also have what we call DU Rising, which is our program to introduce college students to a local chapter. So you're about to graduate, tell us your city, tell us where you're ending up, and we will find that local chapter and get that connected for you so you can have your DU home away from home.
And gosh, yeah, that's a lot. I guess I get asked too, who to reach out to. What is a good maybe website or email or anything? What's a good way to contact DU if someone is interested in joining a DU or starting a DU chapter? Absolutely.
So we do have our Ducks University Instagram. That is a great way to check out what other chapters are doing and the events they're hosting, and they sell merchandise. It's really a hub of what's happening with our college chapters. So Ducks University _official. I handle that, so I look at those DMs. But also if you go to our website, our youth programs, so ducks.org, and go to youth programs, Justin Acock is our manager of youth engagement programs, and his email and phone number is on the website. And he'll send them off to myself or whoever it falls to.
Absolutely. Ducks Unlimited, as we said earlier, is pretty much a family. We love for people to be involved. I think you could email anybody at this place today.
Right.
Send them a text, call them, do anything. Say, hey, where's the nearest DU chapter to me? Text them, where are you? And we'll shoot them back a contact and how they can be involved.
Yeah, and if you're not looking to start a new chapter, you're like, hey, I'm already at one of these schools. Is there a chapter? Can I join? We can also connect you with the chairman, too.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And all it takes is a message. All you have to do is reach out if you guys are interested, or just have a question, even if there is a chapter on your college or at your college. So on this podcast, I kind of get a range of listeners and everything. I want to talk about kind of what are your guys' thoughts on the future of like what are you guys seeing at your college, and then kind of what's up and coming for just conservation as a whole? What are you guys' thoughts, and what are you seeing?
All right, I can take this one. I've got a pretty good future outlook. We structure our senior leadership team, not senior year in college, but the guys that have been doing it longer, team, in a way that ensures it will never just die. Like one person graduates and it dies.
Yeah, we try to maintain longevity in who we choose for different positions, how we kind of structure our leadership.
Absolutely. I guess the best, easiest example of that, we've got the chairman, senior, and we actually have 2 co-chairmen. Aaron is the senior co-chairman.
Yeah, so I'm a junior, so I'll have a year left after he graduates, so I'll be chairman for that. And then I have a co-vice president who's our junior vice president, who's a year younger than me. And so he will kind of take over once I graduate, and then once he graduates, moves on, we'll appoint someone else who is interested in the position, kind of has the skills it takes to lead the chapter, and we'll get them set. And it's kind of nice because I've gotten to see everything happen once last year. I'm more hands-on, doing a lot more with everything this year. So next year when I have to do it on my own, it's not foreign, and it's really comfortable. It's not intimidating at all. It's just really, really nice.
I think broad scale, looking at conservation as a whole at the collegiate level, the unfortunate truth is that hunting sales are down, but we also are seeing an increase of hunting licenses through women and people of color. So I think that having these college students share the conservation message, even though you may not have hunters, you have people who are going to buy a duck stamp just to support conservation. They're going to support DU just for that mission. So I think that if we keep these college programs at the forefront of the mission, we have a bright future.
One thing that I like to think about with the future is the way that conservation happens is the money. That's bottom line. That's just it. So the more as a college chapter we can raise and send to DU and send directly into conservation, the better. So ensuring the longevity of our chapter really is the best way for us to see that conservation happen.
It makes me feel better when I talk to students like Riley and Aaron who are so passionate. I know the collegiate programs will support conservation for a long time now, and it makes you feel good as a staff member to know that you have such dedicated volunteers.
Yeah, there's several times that I scare Cam with some things that I do, but
I get fun phone calls that start with, "Hey mama, I got a question."
Every time I get a call from Cam, I answer it, "What did I do?"
Yeah. Do I pick up right now?
Yeah, it's like, oh God.
No, and he rarely in trouble. It's always just checking in on them. They call me, ask questions, and I like to keep that relationship available for the students that, I'm a staffer, but I want you to have your own success. So if you have questions, you need help, you're always welcome to call me, text me, email.
It also helps that I got to see her be very intimidating in those meetings.
Right.
So now he's not scared.
Right. He saw the dark side.
Yeah, I tell everybody else that when the corporate Cam comes in, she's not as scary as she seems.
Cam, you mentioned you see, like, we got a bright future, a lot of good things are happening, but also in that you said there might be some other things that might scare you. What are some of those things that are some things that maybe we need to work on?
I think the perception of what a hunter is and what DU represents can sometimes, for those who don't know, be daunting, scary, make them, weary. Sharing the positive sides of hunting. There's always going to be a few bad eggs that ruin things for people. Our DU students are a great example of hunters who care and hunters who do it right. True hunters who stick to the rules, follow protocol, have their licenses, and care about the land and the animals. So I think to kind of deter that negative mindset is sharing those positive things, educating those around you. There's always going to be naysayers, but taking the time to have a genuine conversation about conservation, what's happening, and what hunters are doing for the land is a big deal. Because I think the media has really taken some negative images and has skewed some people's opinions.
It will also pay you dividends to have your facts straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really try to keep in mind as I'm trying to start a professional life, as well as educate people what I'm doing with Ducks Unlimited and the conservation and all this stuff, and how and why I hunt. I really like to keep in mind that people want to see the good and the pretty stuff in that. Like, to me, everybody's perception of pretty is different. So to me, like, you see this beautiful duck and it's like, wow, look at this. This is I'm reaping what I sow. Like, this is awesome. But to someone, that's the bad side. They don't want to see that. So if I'm getting on there and I'm going to post something, I'm going to take a picture of the sunset and say, look at this beautiful evening over the water. Or the morning. It's like the world's coming alive.
I'll tell you a funny story. So I got a text literally Friday morning. This guy in my ethics class was popping off positively about Ducks Unlimited, and it made me think of you, from an old worker of mine. And I said, what? Who was it? Like, what'd they say? We were talking about hunting and the ethical side of it, and he said something along the lines of, Ducks Unlimited and the hunters that back it do more for waterfowl conservation than any organization. 83 cents of every dollar goes directly into habitat management and research. We alone at Auburn have contributed more to conservation than probably any other club in this building. Don't come at me saying all hunters are bad. And then someone asked, what do the other 17 cents go to? And he says, do you know what it takes to run a national organization?
That is misquoted.
Well, she did her best, but
Okay.
She's like, and then everyone was just like impressed. And I said, do you know his name? She said, oh, Riley Ketchum. I said, I will see him tomorrow. She goes, no way. So that was just funny that got back to me, Riley taking the time to educate his ethics class.
Okay, the correct answer to what does the other 17 goes to is the people that are actually going and doing conservation.
Yes.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to run a big organization.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does.
And even on like the small scale of like changing perception, really trying to educate people about it. I've had countless conversations this semester with students who've seen our table set up. They come up, and they're like, so you're a hunting organization? We go, well, in a sorts, yeah, but we're also conservation based. And it's been really cool to have some conversations, kind of play devil's advocate with some people, really try to like share with them like why we care about what we do. And I've had a lot of conversations that have just ended in just a lot of information shared on both sides and just a new understanding of the topic.
Absolutely.
That text was a proud mom moment. I'll tell you that
mom.
right there. I was
Proud
like, oh my gosh, I'm going to see Riley tomorrow, and I can't wait to discuss this with him.
I will brag on Auburn Forestry for a little bit. I just have to. A lot of the classes and stuff that we do at Auburn has been way more beneficial than I ever thought it would be for not only me as a professional, but me in Ducks Unlimited. I'm taking a natural resource policy class right now that's required. All these classes I'm talking about are required, and it's a great thing because it helps us understand the policy and how to communicate perception of the public and how to develop these ideas that are really important to conservation. Another one's environmental ethics. That's a great come to Jesus, let's talk about everything involving the environment and how your ethical perception may affect your views on it. There's several classes.
Another notable one's called People in the Environment, and it really focuses on how we can connect people with the environment, how our actions impact the environment, and how we can kind of work to change perception, work to broaden views, and really work to just expose some people who might not have the chance to really learn about nature or hunting or conservation or things like that. Kind of just bring them into the family.
These classes are all great, and they really contribute to our great degree, but we are foresters. There are those classes that are like, let's show you how to build this ecosystem. So I would say that us three, all as foresters, really understand these ecosystems and wetlands that Ducks Unlimited conserving. So it might mean a little more to us in that sense, but that's part of the reason we're so passionate about sharing it.
That was my big draw when I was undergrad. When I knew nothing about DU, I just Googled their conservation mission. I said, I can get behind that, so I'm going to go to a meeting and learn more. But the curriculum at Auburn is very comprehensive when it comes to habitat management, forestry, wildlife. I liked it so much I did it twice. So it's a great program, and it's great that they're supportive of our conservation groups and our students actually have a space to grow and learn.
Mm-hmm. You make a good note about like diving into the weeds of kind of some of the science of understanding these ecosystems, and it's not just understanding them, but it's like well, it is, but you understand like how important they are for just humankind in a broad sense. Just all the benefits that come out of just these of wetlands specifically. I've kind of found myself these last couple of years doing the research tour. Like, I've never been exposed to the research side of things really until I started traveling around highlighting graduate students who are doing waterfowl and wetland research. And when I'm there and then editing the videos, learning a lot just doing that. And it's like when I'm able to share those things that I learned with other people, like it kind of gets me going, and then everyone else kind of is excited to hear about that. And I think that's a good point and just a good subject to talk about with people who hunters, well, I guess just anyone in general, because they see how enthusiastic you are about that subject, and then it's hard not to get excited for them as well.
That's why I think us actually getting involved with our campus is so important, and we hold not as a Ducks Unlimited chapter as just an Auburn student. We hold kind of big tailgates, and people come up and they see that game day button and like, hey, what is that? I'm like, let me tell you, come on.
Do you think? So this is an interesting question. So a lot of times, folks are wearing camo at these tailgates or just these get-togethers. Do you think that just wearing camo is something that maybe deters people from just coming up to a group environment, or is it? You think it has more benefit because it might attract people?
Yes and no.
So that's a really good question, actually. I've got a good kind of comeback to that, unless y'all want to jump in front of me or something. But
I'll say, so we do have some banners we use for high school. It says your friends might be wearing camo. So it's great to identify someone who loves the environment, loves hunting. You know, it's good to kind of make that identification off someone's clothing, but also you can't judge someone's clothing.
Right.
So you really can't speak on their character just because you see them wearing camo.
Absolutely.
So it's like it's a double-edged sword. So it could be great, but it also could be a deterrent.
So one thing I would say is I just, on a personal level, like to kind of dress up for ball games. I like to look nice and whatnot. So I don't wear camo very much. I mean, if you catch me in class with this shirt on, it's soft as it can be. But some of my best friends in this world, I don't believe I've ever seen them without at least one article of clothing that was camouflage. So you got me and them, we're all together right there, and you'll get some guys that'll say, ooh, camo. Then you get some people that'll say, ooh, I'm going to go talk to this. But we're all in the same group, and once that kind of clicks in their head, it really kind of sets the hook, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I think the cool thing about these college chapters is that their groups are so diverse that when you see them put out game day buttons, hats, t-shirts, it's not always a super hunter-oriented picture or artwork. It could be something neutral about the Ducks or about their campus that kind of draws people in, and then you kind of learn about the other side of things. But I think we're kind of seeing that change, that perception at the college level, just because as Aaron mentioned, they have almost every major covered. And they're 50-50 on hunters, non-hunters. So I think we're kind of seeing that shift anyways. And honestly, camo's kind of making a comeback as just a fashion statement. Like,
there we go. That's what we want to hear.
There it is. We all need some camo Crocs, don't we?
That's right. I didn't bring mine this weekend.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, there it is. I was waiting on it.
I think, it's an interesting subject to talk about because, when it comes to, that's what I enjoy talking about is kind of just the human psychology and the marketing and all that kind of stuff, and how can we attract as many people as possible, whether they're hunters or not, because the more people we can get excited about conservation, the better for everyone, I think.
I would say your personality, how you present yourself and everything, aside from clothes, just you as a person matters more than really what you have on.
Matters more than what you have on, what you're doing. if you don't know how to talk to someone well about it, if you don't know kind of how to start that conversation and really engage
Like-
people, it can be really hard to.
Step one for us every semester as our DU chapter is I have made it a point to sit down with those 20 people in our cabinet committee and really drive home and make sure that when we're tabling, when we're doing this, when you talk to somebody on the street, you know the message and you can explain it simply.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, and I think a big thing is when you're doing something like that is you never count someone out. Someone can come to the table knowing nothing. Someone can come to the table knowing everything.
Right.
So just taking the time to have that patience to explain can go a long way. And just being kind, you know. Maybe someone's looking for a new friend group on campus and they see these little rubber duckies.
Right.
They think, well, I'm going to go talk to them. And they realize, oh my gosh, Riley and Aaron are some of the nicest people I've ever met. And they stick around and they learn more about DU.
I think we ordered like 1,000 of them.
Don't tell me that.
Literally 1,000. You should. I've got them all in my laundry room in these little gallon bags. They're just lined up.
They're like that big.
Well, if you want a rubber duck, head to Auburn's campus.
Yeah. Yeah. Come find me.
Come find us with a rubber duck, game day button, whatever.
I think that's one thing that's really cool about just college campuses in general is like there's a lot of noise in the world when it comes to just I'll just say everything's going on, but I think at these college campuses people are able to put some of that stuff aside and have conversations with all different types of people, and you get to hear from the people that are so excited about certain subjects, and it's students know that they can make their own decisions in that point.
Well, you look at DU chapters and then what you're doing with Campus Waterfowl, it's about community.
Mm-hmm.
It's about finding people that have these great values, care about the environment, care about each other, and sticking with that group. And it's the home away from home. So I think building that community, then sticking with it, and then sharing that community is a really big deal.
Well, I like that home away from home comment because at all our events, we'll get somebody come up to me that's in our chapter, and I'm like, I know this guy. He's involved with our chapter, does a lot. He's like, hey, Riley, I want you to meet these people. These are my parents. And they were proud to show off what we accomplished.
My favorite thing when I used to be
Oh, God.
in the chapter, going to find Riley's mom at the banquets. I'd be like, Kelly. Riley's parents. So our first bingo event, Riley's whole family came, and every single person won bingo. They swept, and it was so exciting to see his grandma, his grandpa, his brother, his mom, his dad. Everyone won, but it was just so exciting. So I'm like, oh my gosh, Riley's parents have won again, or his brother won. Like, but that's the cool thing is that, I mean, my family was new to DU. And so I introduced them to it, and they love it. They go to events now on their own. My youngest brother, has joined a college chapter that just started this year. And then, like, seeing Riley's family, you know, it's just great. It's so fun.
When I got involved, DU started mailing out those magazines to my home address, just 9.5 hours away from Auburn. And my dad starts opening them. My dad he's always been really educated about a lot of the conservation stuff going on, but he's never really been into hunting that much. Definitely didn't really know what Ducks Unlimited was until I got involved with it. And now he'll just text me pictures. He's like, I found this. Like, I think this is really cool. Are you, like, helping out with this? He's going through the catalogs. He's telling his friends about it.
Sweet.
And so it's kind of cool to see the reach it has and how much just, like, getting involved with this organization has changed, like, just my whole family's outlook on everything.
I'm about to call up my dad. So the only outdoors experience or from my family, anything like that, my dad's a shell ambassador at Sanibel, Florida. Mm-hmm. So he wears a shirt that says, ask me about your shells, and he can answer questions about shells. But now he's gotten really into, like, birds. And the other day he sent me a picture. He's like, what is this? This is so cool. I'm like, that's a sandhill crane. He's like, that is so sick. And I'm like, look at you, Joel, getting away from the seashells, looking at birds. I know. Joel was our the very first banquet we did, like, as a comeback from COVID. Joel was our ID checker for the college students.
Chief of security.
He was. So we got him a committee shirt, and everyone's like, is he in the chapter? He's like, I'm like, oh, that's my dad.
One thing we have seen with our chapter that's really funny to me is you'll have the grad student, you'll have the PhD student occasionally just pop in and come to meeting. And it's funny to watch all the younger people who really don't know that we're holy cow broad like, turn around, like, who is that?
You know the
There's this
meme with like the
old
graphs
dude.
and the numbers, and they're like,
Oh, yeah.
that's kind of how.
Yeah, it's like there's this old dude in our meeting. I'm like, he's in the chapter. It's like,
Or that's like when I was the TA and someone would come in, they're like, don't you do the DU chapter? I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, where's our TA? I'm like, I am your TA. They're like, what? No. I'm like, yep, get ready. No, I'm kidding.
yeah. It's getting hard on me. As we said, 157 members, and I give the meetings, and they all know me. I know them on a personal level, and I'm trying to keep up with all of them, and I'm running around with my hair on fire, and it's awesome.
Hey, try 35 college chapters. Y'all keep me
It's
busy.
insane.
As we should.
Yeah, that's like I'm trying to think of that. It's like that. So I went to a small high school, but you guys have more members than there were like people in high school at my school. So I'm just trying to think of like you're essentially the principal and trying to manage all these folks.
Well, and we're lucky. I mean, Region 4 that I have, you got LSU, Ole Miss, Auburn. I mean, over 100 members, growing like crazy. But then you have all the up-and-comers. You know, Alabama's recruiting like crazy right now. Tuskegee's recruiting like crazy. Mississippi State just had a awesome kickoff event. So our region is growing strong, and there's a lot of fire and excitement about what's happening with DU.
Very cool.
And it's a huge competition.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little friendly competition never hurts. So
One
I think.
One thing that I would love to do, and we do occasionally, is build off that competition and see what we can do to make money off of that competition. Let's pin these guys against each other and see which one does better.
Well, last spring, Auburn and Alabama did a turkey rodeo, and you
Yeah.
could choose what team you wanted to donate to.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Alabama had more donations, but Auburn raised more money overall. But it was really cool to kind of get both chapters that engagement, but also help them with their fundraising. And I mean, turkey rodeo was like a lot of fun, friendly competition.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I am gonna call really you out for a second, because I had something to do that day and had to go weigh a turkey. I'm like, time to
You
go
can
scale
blame
this turkey.
your regional director for that one.
Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna call him out. We get enough banter as is.
Neely, we love you. This is not a. We love you so much. Don't worry.
Neely, don't go telling any of those stories, okay?
No, I think, just hearing this and then too just seeing stuff on social media and everything. The DU college chapter program, that it's like it's hard to say what's going to be coming down the road, because it's like right now I feel like we're at a high, but it's like there's really no stopping it right now.
We are booming right now, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. So seeing kind of how it builds. I mean, I know our long-term goal, we'd love to have 150 chapters, and we'd love to have 100 chapters at third term. I don't know how soon in the future, but sometime in the future. But especially after third term and these big events, you'll have kids go to Auburn or some other event and be like, hey, I want to start a chapter. It was so fun. Or I met these guys, and they're so cool. And that's going to keep growing as these events spread across the U.S. So
Well, one thing that I've seen with members of our chapter is they move on. Bigger, better things, right? But in those bigger, better things, there's no DU. They started chapter. Logan Hussey did it.
So Logan was on our exec team when I was chairman. He is still an Auburn student, but he went online. He's helping at his family's farm. But he started a chapter in, Fort Payne. And he won Rookie Chapter of the Year this past year for Alabama.
Wow.
He raised, I believe, around $33,000. His first event ever, solo. So it's so great seeing DU college members find that local chapter, have that success, have that family, and just have fun. You know, keep
Or
that community going.
Start from scratch. We've got a member now that's going to graduate and go to school, farther education at South Alabama, and she's looking forward to starting a chapter down there.
Yeah, I've been working a lead on that one. We haven't had a chapter at any of the South Alabama colleges in a while, so we're really excited to have them hopefully up and running by spring.
The college is South Alabama.
Well, so South Alabama chapters, but University of South Alabama. I know
Yeah.
what you're saying. Yeah.
Just sure.
Now, one of the
Auburn
big
is in
challenges,
softball.
one of the big challenges we faced with like what you're talking about, like just like the boom and growth, is really like learning how to manage our chapter and how much it's grown. Because when you like double in size in a year, like a lot of things change. We've had to modify a lot of the way that we do things, the way we run a lot of our meetings, and I think that that's going to be
Absolutely.
a continued process as we keep growing and keep getting to do bigger, cooler things. But I think that the most important thing is, like, as it's grown, like he said, trying to keep those personal connections, trying to make everyone feel seen, because like more than I want everyone in our chapter to like be in DU to raise money for DU, I want them to be in it because like we're each other's people, because we can support each other in day-to-day life, got similar interests, similar values, and really as it like the growth is incredible. But one of the things that we've really tried to focus on is trying to keep it feeling a little bit like a family, even as we've experienced all that growth. And so I would encourage other chapters that are experiencing a lot of growth just to like try to keep it personal, try to keep it a tight-knit family, because that's something that's really, really helped us.
Make it fun.
Mm-hmm.
Make it fun.
So I think, we're probably getting close to an hour here. What does it mean to you guys to be involved with DU and to be contributing to their mission?
I'm a waterfowl hunter. I like to conserve the things I like to enjoy. It means more to me that I'm not just conserving habitat. I'm building myself at the same time. It means a lot to me because it gives a sense of gratification when you can look back at the end of an event and finally sit down after like the 5 hours it takes with your hair on fire. That's probably low, but still. And look back and say, wow, we did this and it was a success, and it wasn't for me, it was for something bigger. We got to bring all these people together, and every one of them was laughing and having fun. We just created a community, and I had a big part in that, so it means a lot to me because of the way I get to interact with my environment.
Mm-hmm. When I first moved to Auburn, I bounced around between a lot of different clubs, extracurricular involvement things, and being able to find DU and just find such a great sense of community was so valuable to me. So I love being able to like help foster that for other people. I love being able to start conversations about conservation and just about topics that there's just a lot of misconception about. So being able to step into a conversation with some like good facts, but also just like the willingness and interest in listening to what the other person has to say, I've learned a lot. So it's been a great educational opportunity for me, and I think it's really special to be in a position where I can be like, yeah, like I'm a part of this, like let me talk to you, and just being able to kind of be somewhat of a voice, even if it's on a small scale. And then, like he said, just being a part of something bigger than yourself can be really easy. Everyone's asking you, like, what's your major? Like, what are your plans? Like, what are you going to do? And it can be really, really easy in college to just get very wrapped up in, like, your own little world and, like, where your life's going to go. So having something where the focus is really on pouring into something that's not all about you, it keeps you humbled, it keeps you challenged, but it's one of the best experiences I've ever had.
I'm just so fortunate now that I get to be on the staff side of things. I mean, I love being a volunteer. I love building up the college chapter, but I love getting to work with students that were like myself who didn't really know hunting, know conservation, and helping them learn and guide them through that journey. That's just been so fun and so great. And the DU family on the staff and volunteer side is so special, and just being part of that, I mean, you really care about each other and you care about the mission, so it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, a good point that brings up is the new people thing. One of my favorite things in this world to hear is, isn't Ducks Unlimited a hunting organization?
Mm-hmm. Every day.
All the time.
Every day.
I hear it and I'm like, let me tell you, come on. And it just snowballs.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know? We've got somebody that cares about the conservation is now involved.
Mm-hmm.
Derek, we could probably stop this recording and talk for 3 more hours.
Oh,
about that.
I think so. Yeah, no, that just like with you guys winning the national championship. I'll say it myself. It's not the best waterfowl hunting college that's going to get crowned the national champions. It's the best waterfowl kind of
Passionate.
driven school, and with Auburn winning it, that just speaks volumes of just how much they care about just community, and how many people they got involved, and just even being here this weekend, hearing from you guys like the things that you guys were doing to try to get people to vote and to get your guys' school to the next round was something.
You want to know one secret of how we win things like that, how we get a lot of people into our course? We pick days, weeks, certain times of the year, and print off like 500 flyers
Oh, gosh.
at the time. Like, just blow them out the door. And we go downtown.
Yeah.
Auburn's got several bars and stuff.
Well,
Me and Aaron did it one time, had a blast.
I'll-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'll put some like masking tape or duct tape like around my wrist, tuck it under my sweatshirt, walking with a manila folder. We kind of go to the corner. I'll hand him some flyers and some tape.
Oh my
We'll both split.
We
He'll
had-
go into the guys' bathroom. I'll go into the girls. And when you leave, every surface
We
is
had-
covered in flyers.
We had a flyer over every stall and every
Oh my God.
bar,
Every bathroom
restaurant,
downtown.
everything downtown. For the campus waterfowl thing, one thing that we did was literally go downtown and start asking people like, "Hey, do you have Instagram? Hey, do you have Instagram? Hey, do you have?" Yeah, vote.
Jeez.
DU works hard, but the Auburn marketing team works harder.
That's right. Jeepers.
No, but it was cool because we'd like walk up to someone. They'd be like, "What on earth are we voting for?" It start a conversation with
Let
someone
me
we
tell
never
you.
would have gotten to talk to.
Absolutely, we got members
So.
that way.
That's insane. Jeez. It's funny because like that tournament now, I think we're year 3 or 4, I can't remember, but it was just like a whim where one of the interns, he came up with it. He was like, let's just do like a big bracket of colleges and see.
My colleges in Region 4 were like, send us your bracket. We want to see who you voted for. I'm like, I can't tell you who I voted for. And I don't pick favorites across my region, but
She went to Auburn.
She loves
no,
it.
I don't pick favorites
Yeah,
across
okay.
my region. But I was like, they'd be like, Cam, did you vote for us? You need to vote for us. I'm like, I have to be as neutral as possible. Like, no. And they're like, come on, share our bracket. Or they'd tag me and be like, vote for my school. And I'm like, I can't share that. I can't promote one school.
Yeah, and I think if I remember right, there's probably 25 to 3,000 individual students who voted across the country.
Wow.
That voted in that. So
That's
and
great.
It's insane, and yeah, it's interesting that you say like you guys were going out there trying to look for votes, but it's like that gave you an opportunity to have a conversation about conservation and what you guys were trying to do.
Absolutely.
So, and you guys were able to get members out of it.
And
too.
it made,
That's
it
funny.
made for some good stories.
Yeah.
Good stories and fun memories.
If you guys are listening, this is also being recorded on YouTube. So if you guys are watching the YouTube video, you guys can see we're sitting around a fire pit with a nice, beautiful backdrop of a pond here.
I've been swarmed by love bugs, so you see me flinching the whole time.
Yeah. But yeah, we're just looking back behind us now. Looks like they got food rolling out.
Yeah.
But I think we're kind of start end the podcast here shortly. But I want to mention to everyone that this weekend, we are celebrating some of these Southeastern University chapters successes, and kind of getting them excited for this next year and this fall, and to give you guys the opportunity to kind of see what it's like here, what we're doing this weekend. We'll have a couple of YouTube videos going out, what we're doing. Did a teal hunt this morning. Didn't go as planned, but we're gonna have a dove hunt redemption this afternoon, and then possibly get after those teal again.
And just
tomorrow
want to say a huge thank you to Tom Jernigan, our SVP, his staff, and everyone here at Sugarfoot Preserve and our DU staff who pulled us together, because it's really great we can get all the students together, and Tom is very generous for letting us out here and having a good time and sharing his property with us. He's a great guy.
Absolutely. That goes back to when we talked about third term. We're coming together with the other collegiate chapters and still building on that relationship.
That's right.
Yeah, it was cool kind of getting to see a lot of people that we'd met previously. There's a lot of people here that I'll Snapchat on a day-to-day basis, or that, like, when I've got a question about, like, just kind of stumped with what to do with our chapter. Sometimes we'll reach out to them, call them, see what's working for them, and it's cool to just get chances like this to build more community and really get to expand our network.
Just trying to
'Cause,
build our own burger.
Out of Region 4, we have Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU, Alabama, Auburn, and then I have what I call my stepkids. So Region 7 in Georgia, we have our ABAC chapter and UGA.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah, but I think we can all pretty much agree that we all do better when we're supporting each other. Having these chances to just get together and build that network, it not only makes our chapter better, it helps us build connections so that we can all work together and just create a stronger collegiate DU environment, which is awesome.
Yep. I think, and yeah, not to keep going longer on the kind of the tail end of the podcast, but it's not one thing that it's taken me some time to realize is, like, we're so young, is that like these connections that we meet today and through third term and the opportunities like this, it's like you don't really realize it yet, but these people that you're connecting with are going to be some of the best friends that you guys have for the rest of your lives. And it's hard to think like what that's going to look like when we're in say we're 50 years old. I think it's having those moments that we can look back on, like this weekend, to reminisce on is special. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I think it's important for us to understand that we are the young guys.
Yeah.
In college, best time of our lives, so we've been told. And I mean, everybody sitting down talking right here is relatively young. So I like to think about where the people are above me and how they've stayed involved.
Rapid fire questions.
Oh boy.
All right,
So-
podcast, here comes the speed round.
Easy one. Favorite duck species?
Well, if it's not a mallard.
What do you
A
got?
mallard.
Mallard?
I like mallard. Name
I
a
went duck
species.
hunting for the first day today, so I'm not the most knowledgeable on that one.
I like the wood duck.
One word to describe your experience with Ducks Unlimited.
Fast.
Fast?
Yes, everything is fast paced. Absolutely, everything is fast paced. It happens really quickly, and it really makes me be on top of it. I like how it happens fast, and now that I'm a senior and I've been involved for a while, it felt like it went too fast.
Yeah.
So fast. I can back it up.
I'd say formative. People I've met, things I've done, it's all really changed who I am as a person, which has been really cool.
Mine would be family.
And then, here we go.
Thank you for having us on the podcast.
It was great.
You're welcome. It's been awesome being here this weekend and sitting down here with you guys. We got lots still to do. It's
Oh, yeah, I believe that.
we got the dove hunt, and then tonight will be fun though.
So this evening we're going to have Jake Matthew. He came out from Nashville, originally from New Hampshire. He's a country artist who works with Tom Jernigan. He's great. His team's here. They're going to perform for us tonight, and we're really excited to have him here.
You heard it here first.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. But that's going to do it here from Sugarfoot Preserve here in Central Alabama. Can't thank you guys enough for coming this weekend and sitting down for an hour, a little over an hour.
Thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
thank you for having
Thanks,
us.
Derek.
Welcome.
Good time.
But that's going to do it here at Sugarfoot. Stay tuned for the next episode. I have no idea where we're going to be yet. It's early in the season, and we got to see where the ducks are, I guess, to figure out where we're going to be next. But stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.